Hello and welcome to another episode of today's GK. I'm Pooja Divedi, and in this segment we bring to you objective questions on a daily basis to help you crack prelims. So let's begin with the practice question of last segment. Consider the following statements. Anti-dumping duty is imposed in order to counter the negative impacts of import subsidies to protect domestic producers, and countervailing duty is imposed on goods that are imported at a substantially low price below fair market value. So which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? One only, two only, both one and two, neither one nor two. So let's solve it together. So if we talk about anti-dumping duty, it is imposed in order to counter the distortions created by the dumping of cheaper goods in a country. So this is incorrect because it talks about import subsidies. So incorrect. The second one, countervailing duty is imposed in order to offset the subsidies which have been provided to the producers of the exporting goods. So this is also incorrect. So the correct answer to this question is C. I hope you have answered it correctly, both 1 and 2. Now anti-dumping duty is imposed to rectify the situation arising out of the dumping of goods and its trade distortive effect. Dumping happens when a country or a firm exports an item at a price lower than the price of the product in its domestic market, and dumping impacts the price of that product in the importing country, hitting margins and profits of local manufacturing firms. On the other hand, countervailing duties are tariffs levied on imported goods to offset subsidies made to producers of these goods in the exporting countries. CVDs are meant to level the playing field between domestic producers of a product and foreign producers of the same product, right? Moving on to the first question. Consider the following statements on Ease of Living Index. Ease of Living Index is released by the Niti Aayog, and in the Ease of Living Index of 2020, Bengaluru emerged as the top performer in the category of population more than million. So you have to select the statement, or you have to select these statements which is or are incorrect. One only, two only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. No, Ease of Living Index is actually released by Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs. So that is incorrect. But yeah, the second statement is correct because Bengaluru has become the top performer. So the correct answer to this question is B. Two only. The index, as of course we have discussed about it, and it captures the quality of life based on data collected from urban local bodies on 4 parameters or pillars: institutional, social, economic and physical factors as well, which consists of wastewater and solid waste management, pollution, housing, inclusiveness, mixed land use, power and water supply, transport, public open spaces. In the recently released EOLI, Ease of Living Index 2020, Bengaluru emerged as the top performer in million plus categories, followed by Pune, Ahmedabad, Chennai, Surat, Navi Mumbai, Coimbatore, Vadodara, Indore and Greater Mumbai. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following countries are part of OPEC, Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries? Russia, UAE, Iran, Saudi Arabia. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 2 and 4 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 2, 3 and 4 only, or all of the above? So, if we talk about the members, yes, UAE is a part of OPEC, so is Iran and Saudi Arabia. And if we talk about Russia, it's not a part of the OPEC, so the correct answer for this question is going to be C, that is 2, 3 and 4, right. OPEC is a permanent intergovernmental organization created at the Baghdad Conference in 1960 by Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia and Venezuela. Now it aims to manage the supply of oil in an effort to set the price of oil in the world market in order to avoid fluctuations that might affect the economies of both producing and purchasing countries, and it is headquartered in Vienna, Austria. Currently, the organization has a total of 13 members such as Algeria, Angola, Congo, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, and Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, UAE, Saudi Arabia, and Venezuela, and Russia is not a member, of course. You have to consider the following statements about recently organized Udyog Manthan. Udyog Manthan is a series of focused webinars on promoting quality and productivity in Indian industry, and it is organized by the Department for Promotion of Industry and Internal Trade. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So, the first and the second statement, both these statements are correct. The correct answer to this question is going to be C. DPIIT, beg your pardon, is organizing Udyog Manthan in association with Quality Council of India, National Productivity Council, Bureau of Indian Standards, industry chambers and various concerned ministries, and it is a marathon of webinars covering 45 sectors focused on quality and productivity in all major sectors of manufacturing as well as services. Major sectors, these include pharma, medical devices, closed circuit camera, electronic system, design and manufacturing, new and renewable energy, robotics, aerospace and defense, toys, furnitures, etc. Moving on, which of the following countries border Djibouti? Somalia, Ethiopia, South Sudan, Kenya. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2, 2 and 3, 2, 3 and 4, 1, 3 and 4. So, Djibouti, if we talk about, Djibouti is bordered by Somalia and Ethiopia, not the rest of the two countries. So, the correct answer to this question would be A, 1 and 2. Djibouti, which is officially known as the Republic of Djibouti, is a country located in the Horn of Africa. It is bordered by Somalia in the south, Ethiopia in the southwest, Eritrea in the north, and Red Sea and Gulf of Eden in the east. You can see it here. Moving on, let's talk about our next question. Consider the following statements about Gram Nyale Act. Presiding officer, that is the Nyaya Adhikari, is appointed by the state government in consultation with the governor of the state. As per the Act, Gram Nyale can hear only civil cases and not criminal cases. So, which of the statements given above is or are incorrect? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So, the presiding officer is appointed by the state government, that is correct, but not in consultation with the governor, but the High Court of the state. So, this is incorrect. And Gram Nyale can not only hear civil cases but also criminal cases. So, the second statement is also incorrect. So, both the statements are incorrect. The correct answer here would be C, both 1 and 2. Now, Gram Nyalas or village courts are established under Gram Nyalas Act of 2008. And if we talk about the objective of this act is to provide speedy and easy access to the justice system in the rural areas of India. And also, if we talk about, we have discussed the given two statements, and the court shall try to settle disputes via conciliation between the parties, and the court can make use of the conciliators to be appointed for this purpose. Moving on to the next question, Simlipal Biosphere Reserve recently in the news is located in which of the following states? Madhya Pradesh, Odisha, Chhattisgarh, Telangana. So, if we talk about it, it's been an ongoing topic in the news. The correct answer to this question is Odisha. Moving on to the explanation. Simlipal, which derives its name from Simul, that is silk cotton tree, is a national park and a tiger reserve situated in Odisha's Mayurbhanj district. These protected areas are part of the UNESCO World Network of Biosphere Reserves since 2009. Which of the following cities are part of the Golden Quadrilateral? Srinagar, Mumbai, Kanyakumari, Kolkata. So you have to select the correct answer using following codes 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, 2 and 4 only. So if we talk about the Golden Quadrilateral, 4 cities are a part of it. Delhi, so Mumbai, after that Kolkata is correct, and Chennai. Alright, so the correct answer to this question would be now 2 is correct, 4 is correct. The correct answer to this question is option D, 2 and 4 only. Moving on, let's talk about the explanation. What is the Golden Quadrilateral? It's a national highway network connecting most of the major industrial, agricultural and cultural centers of India, and it forms a quadrilateral connecting the 4 major metro cities of India, that is Delhi in the north, Kolkata in the east, Mumbai in the west and Chennai in the south. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements with reference to Saint Ravidas Ji. He was a 14th century saint and proponent of the Bhakti movement in northern India, and he is believed to be a disciple of the Bhakti saint poet Ramananda and a contemporary of the Bhakti saint poet Kabir. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer of course is C, because both the statements are correct. Moving on to the statements, the explanation. Now, Guru Ravidas was a 14th century saint and a proponent of the Bhakti movement in North India, and his devotional songs made an instant impact on the Bhakti movement, and his poems were included in Guru Granth Sahib, which is the religious text of the Sikhs. He is believed to be a disciple of the Bhakti saint poet Ramananda and a contemporary of the Bhakti saint poet Kabir. One of his famous disciples was the saint Mirabai. Moving on to the next question, which of the following organizations is associated with Global E-Waste Monitor? United Nations University, International Telecommunication Union, International Solid Waste Association, United Nations Environment Program. So you have to select the correct code. 1 and 2 only, 1, 2 and 3 only, 1, 3 and 4 only, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So if we talk about the following organization institutions, all are actually involved in it, in this particular Global E-Waste Management Monitoring. So the correct answer is going to be D, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now it is a collaboration of the Global E-Waste Statistics Partnership formed by the United Nations University, the International Telecommunication Union and the International Solid Waste Association in close collaboration with UNEP. Moving on, consider the following statements with reference to the caracal, the wild cat. Recently, the National Board for Wildlife included caracal in the list of critically endangered species, and the earliest evidence of the caracal comes from a fossil dating back to the Indus Valley civilization, and it is native to Indian subcontinent only. So, let's look at the statements. One and which you have to choose the correct one, of course. So, 1 only, 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only. Now, if we talk about the first statement, it is correct because yes, it has been included by NBW as a critical endangered species, and the earliest evidence comes from the Indus Valley civilization, but it is not at all restricted only to the Indian subcontinent. In a dozen of countries it is found. So the correct answer to this question is 1 and 2 only, B. The National Board for Wildlife and Union Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change last month included the caracal in the list of critically endangered species. Besides India, the caracal is found in several dozen countries across Africa, the Middle East, Central and South Asia. While it flourishes in parts of Africa, its numbers in Asia is declining. The earliest evidence of caracal in the subcontinent comes from a fossil dating back to the civilization of Indus Valley, 3000 to 2000 BC. According to a reference in Historical and Current Extent of Occurrence of the Caracal in India, one of the few published studies on the animal. Moving on to the practice question. Consider the following statements with reference to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. The UNFCCC was adopted in 1992 at the Rio Earth Summit, and the UNFCCC established a framework for action to stabilize concentrations of greenhouse gases in the Earth's atmosphere. The framework sets binding limits on greenhouse gas emission for individual countries. So which of the statements given above is or are correct? 1 and 2 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, 1, 2 and 3. So I hope you'll be able to answer it correctly in the comment segment. That's it for today. Tomorrow we shall meet again with another segment. Until then, stay updated and thank you so much for watching.